Hi, this is Dave Kyte, and I'm talking to Glenn. We go a fair way back. I believe that I think the phrase is we were two virgin networkers a while back, and it'd be interesting to recall why you were at that event. I know I walked in there with a virtual check in my pocket. I had money that I wanted to invest, but I didn't really want to get into doing property, but I wanted to invest in property, and I think you were on the other side of the table. So,
yeah, it's interesting to know that at every network event there are probably people on both sides of the table who've gone with specifically the same agendas as what we had. Personally, I was in the middle of buying a property. I think the purchase price was about £170,000. It needed a lot of work. The roof had a problem. The purlins had been put in the wrong way. The builder who owned the property had gone bust, and the receivers were getting rid of the property. I had £70,000 lined up from somebody, and unfortunately their refinance didn't come good in time. So I found myself on a day when I should have exchanged and completed in a position of not being able to. So I spent the weekend, searching the internet. How do I get 70 grand within a week? I thought I could either go round and tap up anybody that I knew that might have £70,000 and, talk them into or persuade them that the property was a good thing and that I had a good deal and there was a good profit in it. However, I came across a property network event that was happening on the Monday night, and I thought that would be a good place to go to hopefully find myself a partner to joint venture on this particular deal, because I was working on the philosophy that I'd rather be making 50% of the profit than none of the profit, because I couldn't do the deal. So I turned up on Monday evening at a network event, only to be confronted with probably around 100 people. Now, I thought to myself, I need to identify within this group of 100 people the one person who may or may not be in this room who has got enough money to do the project that I had in mind and to joint venture with. So I went and got myself a beer, something that I thought was quite important, and I got myself a notepad, and I wrote on the notepad, need £70,000 for a project, need it by Friday. If you don't have it, please don't talk to me. And that was the only way that I could think of making sure that I would actually target the right person to run that project, to join that project with me. And that evening, two people come up and spoke to me and said, yes, we've got 70 grand, but 1 week's notice isn't enough to be doing a deal with someone that we've never ever met before. And bearing in mind that nobody had ever heard of me at that point. So I think we just arranged to have a round of golf and to talk in general about what we could do.
Exactly. I mean, from my point of view, it was the first time I'd been to a networking event, and I think Vanish said to me, "You never do a deal on your first visit." I was thinking, well, okay, but this seems like quite a good project, and so what you need to do then is to check you out, really, isn't it? So
yeah.
Yes, and it was fortunate that we actually had golf as a common interest, and I think you can tell a lot from the character of a person by the way they play on the golf course. If they're honest on the golf course, and generally they're mostly honest, if they're dropping golf balls and cheating on the golf course, I do learn a lot from people who play golf. So so it was a little test, and you didn't know that at the time, but again, you've got people do business with people they like, and so it's important that you build up the rapport. So but at that point you'd done about 6 or 7 deals, had you?
Yeah, I had a bit of a track record, and I think I actually put that on the piece of paper. Got a track record that we can go through if you're interested.
Yeah, you certainly had some pages with deals that you'd done and the projects you did and how much you'd made on them. And if somebody's going out networking, certainly you need some form of proof of what you're claiming or what you're looking for.
Yeah, and obviously it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation going on here, because if somebody turned up at a network event and they've never done a deal before, they haven't got any experience. And if they haven't got any experience, how can you find a partner to get experience? So there's the chicken and egg. But I'm pretty sure that you could sit and work something out, and it is all about the numbers. And a lot of the mentees that I have actually get joint venture finance off the back of the fact that I'm actually mentoring them and going over the numbers and having a brief look. Now, I don't take responsibility for the actual results of it, but they're more than happy to fund the deal because I've looked at it and said, yes, in principle this looks like a good deal. So that might help people to be able to go to that level of finding someone very quickly. But certainly I would recommend either the resource that we're putting together on this website. One of the sections is about finding joint venture partners, and perhaps you'd like to go into a little bit more details about that, David.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with, as you highlighted, is if you go to a networking event, if you've got no money and no track record, how do you get some experience? And we come along and we're really very naive. We don't know half the things of what you should be asking, what sort of risk you're putting up, and occasionally people do things wrong. One of the things you can do is find a property investor in your area and simply offer to help in return for some education, so you can actually see what people are doing. But how do you find somebody at a networking event that might be in the Bristol area if you're from Bristol? Yeah. So the whole point about this website is that people have profiles, and in those profiles they can put where they are, where they're located, and where they're interested in investing. And now you can look through the directories and find people that are either investing in the area you want to invest in, or you live in the area where somebody wants to invest in, or you live locally to somebody who's doing the investing. You just can't find that quickly and efficiently at a networking event. Now, networking is great. I think our chance meeting on that first day led to me helping fund 20 or 30 of your properties. You'd come to a grinding halt because you'd run out of money, and finding a partner enabled you to carry on quite happily for the next year or so, I think.
Yeah, it certainly did. I discovered a way of buying properties and putting a deposit, it was with Birmingham Midshires, of around about 20-25 grand per property. Deposit down and then refinancing it 2 or 3 months later as soon as we'd done the work, or as soon as we could refinance it, with a company that didn't have a 6-month rule. So we cycled your £20,000 quite a few times, and where I'd set my target of buying 52 properties in 52 weeks, it actually helped me get to 52 properties in 48 weeks. So without that chance meeting, I probably wouldn't be where I am.
We certainly wouldn't be sat here talking about things that happened 4 or 5 years ago.
No, for definite. And we've done quite a few bits and pieces together over the years.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to add, and we'd like your feedback on this, anybody who's listening, is that we keep talking about some sort of dragon's den, and getting a group of people with money to sit at the desks as per the Dragon's Den and have people come in and pitch their deals. Now, whether or not we do this internet based or not, I think it would be very interesting. If somebody's got 100 grand to spend or 150 grand to spend on an investment, they sit there until someone comes and pitches a deal that they're happy to go along with. Obviously, they can go and do all their due diligence afterwards, and either go ahead or not go ahead. But I'd like to know, and I'd like some feedback as to whether you would like to do that. I think it would make very good entertainment, as well as profitable, being very profitable for both the person who has the money and the person who needs the money.
Yeah, I think that's something that we maybe could do on a webinar, that we could have 4 or 5 people actually on voice, and one person making their pitch, and we could line up a few people to do a pitch. I think that would be great fun.
Yeah, I think that would get a big audience as well.
Yeah. Okay, so networking is really, really important, and certainly learning how to build trust, socializing with people when you're networking. And the point and beauty of your new website is it's designed to encourage people to put their contact details up there, and to create deals or find deals and offer them for sale, and also to buy these deals as well. It is important that even though we're providing a facility for people to offer and buy deals, it's very important for them to do their due diligence. And I don't know whether you've got a few words to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know everybody who's going to be on our membership site. What I would recommend that we do is, if you've done any other deals with any other people, that you can put your testimonials alongside your own outline. And as somebody grows and does more deals with more members, everybody's reputation will grow, and you'll find that more people will want to do deals with you. But due diligence is very, very important.
Yes. So we're looking for references, really, aren't we? So
yeah, references. I'm sure we can put a set of guidelines together from your perspective, what you're looking for if you were investing into somebody, and from my perspective, what I'm looking for when I'm finding someone to invest in. Because don't be afraid to actually ask them for proof of the money, because I've had people who've said before that they would invest with me and do a project, and it's turned out at the end of the time they didn't have any money. They were just, some people are out there just do things like that for strange reasons. So verification of what they've got. If somebody's thinking of getting into bed with you to do a joint venture, they shouldn't be shy of showing you a bank balance or some sort of proof that they can actually fund the deal.
Okay, so we've called the new website askglenarmstrong.co.uk. That's GLENN, askglenarmstrong.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you in your new online network.